Welcome to Intelligent Human Leadership, leading yourself and your team. Do you ever find yourself grappling with a lack of confidence in your team? Or battling the relentless waves of concern and fear? Are the pressures to meet client expectations and the burden of missed opportunities weighing you down? On this podcast, you'll discover the strategies and insights that will reignite your team's morale and help you find the harmony and knowledge you seek to propel your business forward. Here, we explore innovative ways to reignite your creative spirit and achieve greatness, empowering you to lead with intelligence, compassion, and resilience. If you're ready to dive deep into your core of leadership challenges and be guided toward success, here's your host, founder of Steward Your Business, David Carr.
All right, welcome back to the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast. I'm honored to have you back here on an episode once again. We are continuing our series on leadership that works. If you have missed the last few episodes, I encourage you to go back. We've covered relationships and communication, and we covered the kind of the overview here. And today's episode, we're actually going to get into alignment. Why everyone's busy, but nothing is really getting done because we're misaligned. This is going to be a really important video if you're watching me on YouTube, listening to this, wherever your favorite platform is. But, helping you as a leader understand where things get misaligned in vision and goals and values, and we waste effort. There's confusion, there's fractured culture, and how we can recalibrate unity and build on momentum. So I hope you'll join me along this episode. I'm glad you're here. And it's, of course, always great to have others sharing and commenting, providing feedback. I love hearing from you guys and what you're getting out of these podcasts, because why I give them and provide them every week is not just to hear me talk, but it really is to help impart wisdom from the trenches, some things that I've learned over the years. I'll give you real world examples here of over 25 years working in the environmental consulting space, working as a coach, working as a consultant, working with lots of different people, because I want you to be successful. I want you to win. We want to pull back the covers, if you will, expose the hidden costs of misalignment in leadership, and provide practical steps that you can take to restore clarity, unity, and again, momentum, centering your team around clear values and communicating those. So let's set the stage here. Let's put aside busyness. Unfortunately, busyness oftentimes gets lifted up. I would say actually busyness isn't what's really getting lifted up, but it seems, hey, we're doing things, we're having activity, but what are we actually accomplishing? How are we moving forward? Are we duplicating efforts? Are there ways that we could think through this better and achieve more by working together and being in alignment? This, for those of you, we have the Olympics coming up here in a few years in California. Hopefully, it all goes well here in Los Angeles. But think about this: any team, and the picture that comes to mind for me, if you ever watched competitive rowing, whether it's two people in the boat or more, up to 4 or however the numbers are, but you see them rowing like they literally are getting all the strokes in the same frequency, the rhythm, the energy. That's real power when you're doing that. If you're not in that and you start to get out of sync, think about how messed that up, and everybody starts banging into each other. And so this effective misalignment is when everybody's moving, but they're not going in the same direction. You can really, get defeated on it, quite honestly. Where people are doing duplicative work, there's conflicting priorities. This is one that I see often, where I thought this was the important thing. Well, I thought this was the important thing. And we're talking past each other. We're kind of banging into each other, if you will. And then we have to rework things because there was a lack of clarity as to what was going to be taking on. And then these disconnected efforts that are going on don't serve the larger mission and vision. This happens at any size organization. I've seen it at large, tens of thousands of employees, or for a county agency, to a smaller company of even 100 employees, where we had offices where, for example, one office would do a report, the same quote unquote service or deliverable, and it would be different than another office. And for no reason other than there wasn't communication and collaboration and consistency in how we were doing these. So busy is not the same as being effective. And if your team is not aligned, they're going to struggle in every step of the way. And ultimately, that can lead to burnout. It can lead to frustration. It can lead to toxic work environment. You have rotation because people don't stick around, which is very costly. So think about, I'm going to break it down for you. 3 areas or levels, if you will, of alignment. And you've heard me talk about this in the previous episodes. So I like this framework because I think it's helpful to think through the problems about how they affect us. So we always have things that are going on around us, external to us, things that, quite honestly, we have maybe little to no control over some of these things. For example, you're in a large enough organization, you're going to have different departments. You're going to be charged with something. Maybe I was a group leader, and it may not be the same with somebody else. And so you could have competing goals even if you're not clear on this. Sometimes these efforts that are, again, external to us contradict or overlap each other. So who's responsible for what? I work a lot with companies, and we are trying to figure these out, roles and responsibilities. Business development is a really good one. You're in that space because am I responsible for the client communication, writing the proposal, providing the technical scope of work, following up? These things all creep in, and if there's not clear, it's really hard to win because you don't know where my responsibility ends and where the other person begins. Again, confusion over roles and responsibilities. So these are all things kind of external that you need to be aware of. And these are just a few of kind of a level of breakdown. And then you have these things that, inside yourself. Do you feel pulled in too many directions? Do you feel like you're spinning your wheels? Because if we're not clear what's important, at least for us, now it may not be important to others, or there may be a conflict in the external, but you need to know for yourself what you understand it to be. Oftentimes I found if you're not clear about the bigger picture, about how this fits in, the why, if you will, you're not going to be as effective. I came into environmental consulting. It was new to me. I never had done this. I was coming out of college, and I didn't understand the whole process of going into the field, collecting the data, bringing it back, putting it into a report. What's the ultimate end goal? What is that looking like? Because it helped me to do a better job on the front end of going through and collecting the data and paying attention, asking different questions, because I started to get aligned with the bigger picture, what we're trying to achieve here. And how many of you, maybe as a leader or business owner, are not communicating that clearly to your team, and they're left to wonder? And so I want you to self-assess here. Are you wondering? Are you not clear? That should be a warning to you that I need to pause here, because you're going to probably start second guessing your decisions due to lack of clarity. That's not a great place to be. When we're wondering, when we don't have certainty, really hard to then give our all. We're like, well, I think it's right, and who are you going to talk to if you don't have that? How can you get realigned? So don't just set it and forget it, or think people are going to get it. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. I wish it was that simple. It just isn't, unfortunately. And really, what happens over the long haul when we look at this, I want you to think about this kind of ethically or morally. When the day-to-day doesn't align, we're out of sync with values, what's important to the company. and to us for that matter, we have erosion over the mission and the vision. We're not actually getting there. We're not even clear what that is. We're kind of drifting, and we're kind of hoping to get, throw the dart, and hopefully we'll get close to the target. We want to get the bullseye, and we don't want your values just to be, on the wall somewhere or in some document that nobody knows about or can't find it. We want it to be a reality of the way you live every day of your life in alignment, not just for your company. We talk about business here on the Intelligent Human Leadership, but you personally. I had a great conversation with a gentleman today who shared a story about how he was at the ground floor of being a part of an organization that happened to be a health organization at the time, and he didn't want to participate in this organization because even though he could make a lot of money, they were not being straightforward in some of the ingredients and things that they were selling. He just thought that wasn't ethical and right. And he had to step out, make sure he was personally in alignment. This is more important than ever, I found, particularly for Gen Z. Not only, I think it affects us. I'm Gen X and 51, but I think there is more sensitivity, I should say, this alignment. Sometimes we might get a little numb. We might not be paying as close attention, and we can kind of drift. Or we may just honestly, truly believe we're living the values, but we haven't expressly stated that. And so I love the quote from one of my favorite mentors and folks that I've learned over the years, Simon Sinek. He says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Why do you do what you do? Why do you show up day after day, week after week? It's not what you're doing, it's why you're doing it, and how are you showing up with integrity and commitment, honesty. What are your values? I would encourage you to assess your personal values, and hopefully they line up with your company's values. And it may not be the same exact words, but you should see some congruence, if you will, between them. And if you don't, that should cause you to pause and hopefully maybe ask the question about what are they? What do we need to reassess here? As we do this self-leadership check, we can then model alignment, because it has to start with ourselves. The foundation of this podcast is know yourself to lead yourself, and then you can lead your teams. This shows up authentically as a leader, as a husband, as a man, as a wife, a spouse, as a parent, whatever that might be for where your journey of life is. We need to make sure we're in alignment. And if we don't know what those are, we're not clear, it's very hard to then lead by example and draw others out there. So are your daily actions, I want to ask you a few questions here I want you to consider. Are your daily actions as a leader reflecting the core values you claim to uphold? What are your standards? What are the rules that you live by? Are you clear on those? Can you articulate those? It's difficult. I will say it sounds fairly straightforward. When you ask somebody, what are the rules that you live by? What are the standards that you personally hold yourself to? Can you articulate those well in all areas of your life? In the way that you show up, taking yourself physically, emotionally, mentally. Are you clear on those things? Are you living a life in alignment, or are you out of alignment? It's very easy to say, I want to have a healthy life, for example, and then be traveling. And I'm going to give real world examples here, you guys. Traveling, and it's, I'm just going to have that fast food meal or that quick fix because it's convenient, but it's out of alignment what I said I was going to do about how I'm going to take care of myself and the food. And we want the food I'm going to consume. We want you to maintain your integrity, your commitment, and your ability to show up reliably for yourself, number one, but then for the rest of your team and other people around you, for whoever is in your sphere of influence. Does your team even know what your top priorities are this month, this week, this quarter? I guarantee if you say it one time, that's not going to be enough. If you put it in one email or post it somewhere, that's not going to be enough. Your team will not know and will not remember. Heck, I'll tell you, I would ask my team when I was a group manager, do you know what our core services are? Besides the one they were specifically doing, because they couldn't tell you. They weren't clear what that meant, how to explain that. Well, that's a problem. How can we be in alignment as a company if we don't even know all the services that we offer and how we help our clients? Again, did they understand how their work that they're doing fits into the larger mission of the company? What is it you're trying to achieve? This is important. The leaders, I want you to do this check. If you asked, for example, 5 different team members what the top priority is, would you get the same answer? Maybe in a different order, but did they give you essentially the same response? Be clear on whatever those core values are. I know some people say, well, what do we do? It's important to write it down. It's important to be clear on what is meaningful. And if we just say everything is meaningful or important, then nothing really is. I had a great conversation, a tough one actually, with an employee with a company who was, as we're coaching and talking, sharing her frustration with in this case, it was a subcontractor, but could it be an employee, basically behaving badly. But when we say behaving badly to who? What's the criteria? What does that mean? Because we have to have some kind of standard to measure it against. And I said, well, are you clear on the values of the company? Well, we don't really have those written down. So then it comes down to your opinion on whether or not they're within upholding the values or living within this understanding. Are they aligned or not? We want to make it clear if you're aligned or not. And I'm not going to say you're always going to be 100% in the line. For those of you who play sports, I played soccer for a long time, kicking around, and there's lines right on the field. So you're in the field or out of the field. So you can be in bounds or out of bounds. There are times where we're going to be out of bounds, but the goal, the effort is: are we moving more toward being in bounds? Are we moving more to the center, if you will, and less fuzzy and being clearer? That's what we want to help, because that's how you win. When you know if you're in or out, are we moving in the right direction? And if we're out, it's not we're going to beat you up about it. We're just going to say, hey, how do we get you more moving in the right direction? So as we're getting close to the end of the podcast here, I just want to give you some practical fixes that you can restore alignment. This podcast, I cannot solve all your problems, and I never said I could, but I do want to always leave you with some practical, tactical things that you can do, and know that, hey, David, I need more help. I need to go dig deeper here. I don't want to go just do this alone. That's why I have a group coaching program in addition to working with business owners, because oftentimes it's hard to find that. It's hard to find that support, someone that generally understands me, provides a space and a community I can be a part of. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're hearing this, I encourage you to reach out to me, connect with me. Let's have a deeper conversation and get clarity on what you really need and how I may be able to help you. But I encourage you, whether you're the business owner or not, I want you individually to know your personal core values. Are they clear? Are they actionable? Are they visibly in your daily operation? I have some printouts here that I refer in my office, things that I put on the wall, things that I look up to remind myself of what did I say was important. And the words matter. The words that you're choosing matter. I want you to really let them sink in and embrace them. What's your rhythm of alignment? So once you figure out your core values personally, and we could also do an exercise for you as a company, because I think that's important. What's your rhythm of alignment? To calibrate your focus and eliminate drift? One of the tools I use is the Full Focus Planner. I also use the Warrior app. These are just tools out there that I incorporate to make sure I'm looking at how I'm doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, yearly basis. there's levels that we go in and out of that we need to make sure that we're in alignment. So what is that for you? Do you have something? Is it working for you? If it's not working for you, well, let's find a tool that does work for you. Again, we talked about values. Well, values are directly tied to the mission and the vision as well. Does every member understand not just what you do, but why does it matter? Why does it matter that we have scientific excellence? Why does it matter that we need to return a call or an email to a client when they call, 24 hours or whatever the threshold is for you? Why does it matter? And then, look at your goals over the next 3 months. I like looking at a monthly, weekly, honestly, even daily, we roll them up. But what are these goals? How are they aligning or not? Are you achieving them, or what do you need to adjust? What are the tactics you needed to use to get there? Great book called 12-Week Year. We talk about tactics and how we can adjust those. And look for feedback loops. Create space for team members to flag where they feel disconnected, where something's off. If you want alignment, you need to get rhythm. And what talks about, what brings it up, what gets scheduled will get done. So, alignment, and hopefully you're taking this as so important. And I want you to check yourself regularly. I am in alignment or not. Anybody that drives a car, you have to align your car. What's going to happen if you don't align your car and your wheels? They're going to drift. There's going to be edge wear on your tires, and they need to be rotated, they need to be adjusted. This is a regular rhythm and requirement over time. And depending on how much disruption we face, I live up in the mountains, we have potholes and other things we have to avoid that mess up the car. Just same thing in the organization, where you have transitions and storms of change, you will be forced to have to realign. And sometimes the realignment with me became a little bit more, sometimes it's not, it's just tapping a little bit. It's making minor adjustments. That's what we want to get to, where you're making just minor adjustments. It's not wide swings, but the minor adjustments can make all the difference. So where is alignment slipping, team? I guarantee it's slipping at some point. It's not static. It's not like, you're going to maintain it. You may have it good at one point, but it will slip. Where's one area where priorities are unclear, or core values are just simply words, and you couldn't even pull up the words on the page? I challenge yourself to take 10, 15 minutes to look and do a core values audit. Identify your actions, make sure they match up with your. I have a tool that you can use, the delegation matrix. You can break that down too to find out, hey, am I doing the right things? Need to get those to another person. If you're ready to get clear, I invite you to take a leadership audit, which I will take you and walk you through. Who's doing your business? You can do a team performance assessment to get better clear on all of these areas so that you can be in alignment and success to win. So, again, alignment is more than agreement. It's a shared ownership of the mission. And when your team understands the mission, the values, the priorities, they will move faster with purpose and less friction. And I've said this before, starting in this journey, you haven't failed. You have just not finished. There's more work to be done. We want to keep building that leadership, the leadership that works. And we're going to build on this episode. So the next episode, we're going to talk about execution. We're actually implementing these things, turning strategy into results. So come back for our next episode so that we can get deeper into taking care of those ideas and those initiatives that make them come to life. I appreciate you guys all being back here, of course, on the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast, following along all the platforms. I continue to add some great videos in addition to the podcast here onto Steward Your Business YouTube channel. Of course, we have many tools and resources, and I would just love to hear from you. So your comments, your ratings, your reviews are so meaningful, and I've been just excited to see where this is continuing to go. We are cruising along here in about coming up on like 80 episodes now of the Intelligent Human Leadership Podcast, having started in January 2024. So if you missed some of those episodes, you want to go back and kind of hear our journey, go check it out. I'd love to have you look at those, listen to them, and continue to be a part of the community here at Steward Your Business. I am your host, David Carr, thanking you again for being here. And until next time, take care and be in alignment with yourself and your team. Thanks everybody for listening.